Maya Richardson Hartwell stood in her kitchen at 6:47 a.m., Naomi crying in her arms when the email arrived. Subject line, final notice, custody petition filed. Her ex-husband Marcus wanted her baby. The same man who divorced her 24 hours after her father's funeral. The same man who'd married his mistress Vanessa while Maya's hands still smelled like cemetery dirt. He wanted full custody of the billion-dollar baby he'd abandoned. Hello friends, welcome to Black Bite Stories. Before we begin today's story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love hearing from our global family. Maya's coffee went cold as she read the petition. Marcus claimed she was mentally unstable, emotionally unfit, a grieving billionaire who couldn't possibly parent alone. His lawyer had attached 47 pages of evidence. Screenshots of her crying at the grocery store. Testimonies from neighbors who heard the baby crying at night. A psychiatric evaluation she'd never consented to, claiming severe postpartum depression and delusional thinking. Every word was a knife aimed at her throat. But what destroyed her wasn't the lies Marcus told. It was seeing Vanessa's name listed as his expert witness. The mistress who'd whispered finally when her father died was now going to testify that Maya was dangerous. The woman who'd stolen her husband while she was 6 months pregnant was now trying to steal her child. Maya sat on her kitchen floor, Naomi in her lap, and felt rage so pure it burned away every tear. She remembered her father's last letter, the one Harold Ashford had delivered with trembling hands 3 months ago. Show no mercy, baby girl. When they come for your daughter, and they will, show them what a Hartwell does to thieves. Inside that envelope was more than advice. It was ammunition. Recordings, documents, proof of things about Marcus that would obliterate him in ways he'd never imagined. Her father had seen this moment coming from his hospital bed. Maya called Harold at 7 a.m. sharp. Uncle Harry, Marcus filed for custody. I need everything my father left me. There was a pause, then his voice came through steady and certain. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Maya, your father prepared for this exact scenario. He left you a weapon, and it's time to use it. She looked down at Naomi, 3 months old, sleeping peacefully, despite the war being waged over her tiny head. No one was taking this baby. Not Marcus, not Vanessa, not God himself. Harold arrived with a leather briefcase that looked older than Maya. Inside were USB drives, sealed envelopes, and a file so thick it could break ribs. Your father hired investigators the moment Marcus started his affair, Harold explained, spreading documents across her dining table. He documented everything, every lie Marcus told, every hotel room he shared with Vanessa, every conversation where he calculated your father's death like a stock portfolio. Maya's hands shook as she touched the files. Her father had protected her from beyond the grave. The first recording made her stomach turn. Marcus in her father's hospital room 3 weeks before he died. James, I'm just being real with you. Maya's different now. All she cares about is you being sick and this baby coming. I didn't sign up for this version of her. Her father's voice came through weak but sharp. You signed up for marriage vows, Marcus. In sickness and in health. Marcus laughed, actually laughed. Yeah, well, things change. And honestly, with you dying, I'm looking at supporting her and a kid alone. That's not sustainable. Maya stopped the recording. She couldn't breathe. Marcus had asked her dying father if the cancer was financially sustainable. Harold's hand covered hers. "There's more." He asked about life insurance, about assets that might help offset the burden of being married to you. The rage in Maya's chest turned nuclear. This was the man demanding custody. This was the man claiming he loved Naomi. He'd measured her father's death in dollars, while the heart monitor beeped in the background. The second recording was worse. Marcus and Vanessa in his apartment 2 months ago, drunk and laughing. "Your daughter's sitting on billions, Marcus, billions, and you're just letting Maya control everything." Vanessa's voice was slurred, bitter. "You could file for custody. Any judge would give a father rights. Then you could make financial decisions for her. We could fix everything. Your debt, my bankruptcy, all of it. You just need to fight." Marcus had responded, "You think I'd win?" Vanessa laughed. "Baby, you're her father. Maya's a mess. Of course you'd win. Maya played it 3 times. They'd planned this." Vanessa had planted the idea, and Marcus had watered it with greed until it bloomed into this custody petition. They didn't want Naomi. They wanted access to her trust fund. They wanted control of the billions her father had left protected in ironclad legal structures they didn't understand. Harold pulled out another document. "Your father predicted this too. 6 weeks ago, before Marcus filed, we sent him an offer. $50,000 to terminate his parental rights permanently." "What did he say?" Maya's voice was hollow. "He ignored it completely. Threw the letter away. We retrieved it from his trash." Harold's smile was grim. "Then 2 weeks ago we offered him $500,000. He rejected it within 6 hours. Maya understood immediately. Marcus wasn't interested in being a father. He was interested in being a beneficiary. Any amount less than billions wasn't worth his time. Harold pulled out the final document, and his expression turned predatory. "Your father left one more instruction. If Marcus files for custody, destroy him publicly." The courtroom was smaller than Maya expected, more intimate, which meant she'd see Marcus's face when she buried him. She sat at the plaintiff's table with Harold and 2 other attorneys, all in suits that cost more than Marcus made in a month. Across the aisle, Marcus sat with his lawyer, Jennifer Walsh, a woman whose eyes said she ate souls for breakfast. Behind them, Vanessa sat in the gallery wearing a conservative navy dress, playing the concerned family friend instead of the homewrecker who'd celebrated death. Judge Catherine Morrison entered, a black woman in her 60s with kind eyes and a reputation for destroying liars. "We're here for the preliminary custody hearing. Mr. Richardson is petitioning for full custody of 3-month-old Naomi Richardson Hartwell." Walsh stood immediately. "Your Honor, my client is deeply concerned about his daughter's welfare. Miss Richardson Hartwell is emotionally unstable, socially isolated, and suffering from severe untreated postpartum depression. She's blocked my client from seeing his child and created a toxic environment that prioritizes her grief over the baby's needs." Harold stood like a blade unsheathing. "Your Honor, I'd like to establish context. Mr. Richardson divorced Miss Richardson Hartwell 24 hours after her father's funeral. He married his mistress 48 hours after the divorce finalized. That marriage lasted 6 weeks. During Naomi's first 3 months, Mr. Richardson requested supervised visitation twice. Each visit lasted under 30 minutes. He left both visits early. He has never changed a diaper, never attended a pediatrician appointment, never fed his daughter. Until 2 weeks ago, he showed zero interest in parenting whatsoever." Judge Morrison's eyebrows rose. "Is this accurate, Mr. Richardson?" Marcus stood, smooth as oil. Your Honor, I was giving Maya space to grieve and bond with the baby. I didn't want to intrude during such a difficult time. The judge's expression could have frozen lava. You didn't want to intrude on your own daughter's life? Marcus stumbled. I was being respectful of Maya's process. Judge Morrison leaned forward. I see, Miss Walsh, what evidence supports your claims of instability. Walsh pulled out a folder like a magician pulling a rabbit. We have testimony from Miss Vanessa Chun, who observed Miss Richardson Hartwell during custody exchanges. We have text messages showing erratic behavior, social media posts demonstrating. Harold cut through her words like a scalpel. Your Honor, I'd like to impeach Miss Chun's credibility before she testifies. The judge nodded. On what grounds? Harold's smile was beautiful and terrible. On the grounds that Miss Chun is the woman Mr. Richardson committed adultery with. She has a documented history of hostility toward my client, and she has a vested financial interest in this custody case. Walsh's face went tight. Miss Chun has no financial interest. Harold pulled out his own folder, and Maya watched Vanessa go pale in the gallery. Miss Chun filed for bankruptcy 3 months ago with debts exceeding $200,000. She lost her job 2 months ago after the affair scandal went public at her workplace. She's currently unemployed, living in a sublet, and according to subpoenaed text messages, she and Mr. Richardson have discussed what they do with access to Naomi's trust fund. The courtroom went silent. Judge Morrison's expression turned to stone. Miss Walsh, call your witness now. Vanessa took the stand looking like a woman walking to her execution. Her hand shook on the Bible. Walsh started gently, building the foundation. Miss Chun, how do you know the parties? Vanessa's voice was small. I worked with Marcus. We became close friends, then fell in love. I know the timing wasn't ideal. Walsh nodded sympathetically. And you've observed Miss Richardson Hartwell's behavior? Vanessa's confidence grew. Yes. During custody exchanges, Maya was unstable. Crying, erratic, saying bizarre things about karma coming from Marcus. She seemed paranoid and disconnected from reality. Harold stood for cross-examination, and the temperature dropped. Miss Chun, you said you fell in love with Mr. Richardson. When exactly did this love begin? Vanessa hesitated. About 8 months ago. Harold's voice was casual, lethal. And when was Miss Richardson Hartwell's father diagnosed with terminal cancer? Vanessa's face drained. I don't know exactly. Harold's smile never wavered. It was 9 months ago. So your affair began while her father was dying and she was pregnant with Mr. Richardson's child. Correct? Vanessa whispered. We didn't plan it that way. Harold's voice cut. Yes or no? Yes. You attended her father's funeral, didn't you? Harold continued, circling like a shark. Briefly, to support Marcus. Harold pulled out a document, and Vanessa's eyes went wide. We have testimony from 3 ICU nurses present the night James Richardson died. All 3 independently reported hearing a woman, matching your description, say the word finally when he was pronounced dead. Do you deny saying that? The courtroom exploded in whispers. Marcus looked like he wanted to disappear. Vanessa stammered, I didn't. It was taken out of context. I just meant his suffering was over. Harold moved closer. His suffering? Of course. He pulled out his phone. Your Honor, I'd like to play a recording legally obtained through subpoena of Miss Chun's phone records. This is a voicemail she left Mr. Richardson 2 weeks before he filed this petition. He pressed play, and Vanessa's drunken voice filled the courtroom. Marcus, you need to listen. Your daughter is sitting on billions. Billions. and you're letting Maya control everything when you could have custody. You could make decisions about that money. We could fix everything. My bankruptcy, your debt, all of it. Call me back." The courtroom erupted. Vanessa ran from the stand in tears. Marcus sat frozen, realizing he'd just lost everything. Judge Morrison banged her gavel, and her voice carried the weight of mountains. "Miss Walsh, do you have other witnesses?" Walsh looked defeated. "We have Mr. Richardson himself." The judge nodded. "Call him." Marcus took the stand, looking like a man watching his life collapse in real time. Walsh tried damage control. "Mr. Richardson, can you explain your relationship with your daughter?" Marcus's voice was hollow. "I love Naomi. She's my child. I want to be in her life." Harold stood, and Maya felt the kill shot coming. "Mr. Richardson, you testified you love your daughter. How much did you contribute to her birth? Hospital bills, prenatal care, baby supplies?" Marcus shifted. "Maya had insurance through her father's estate." Harold's voice was ice, so $0. "But you had $30,000 for a wedding to Miss Chun." Marcus's temper flared. "That was different." Harold smiled. "Indeed. Do you know your daughter's pediatrician's name? Her favorite toy? Her vaccination schedule?" Marcus went blank. "Maya handles medical stuff." "You haven't asked," Harold said quietly. "In 3 months, 0 doctor's appointments attended, 0 midnight feedings, 0 diaper changes. But now you want full custody." "Why?" Marcus's voice rose. "Because I'm her father." Harold pulled out another document. 3 weeks ago, you were offered $500,000 to terminate parental rights. You rejected it. Why? Marcus was sweating now. "Because my daughter isn't for sale." Harold leaned in. "Interesting. 2 weeks before that, you were offered $50,000 for the same thing. You ignored it. Why wasn't $50,000 enough, but $500,000 still wasn't enough?" Marcus exploded. "Because I know what my daughter is worth. She's going to inherit billions, and I'm her father, so I have rights." The words hung in the air like a confession. The courtroom went dead silent. Harold's smile was devastating. "So this is about money. Thank you for clarifying." He turned to Judge Morrison. "Your Honor, I'd like to enter the recording of Mr. Richardson visiting his dying father-in-law and asking about life insurance money." Walsh objected desperately. "That's prejudicial." The judge's voice was steel. "It's directly relevant." "Play it." The courtroom listened in horror as Marcus's voice filled the space, asking James Richardson about life insurance, calling Maya and the baby unsustainable, treating his dying father-in-law like an ATM while the man fought for every breath. When it ended, Judge Morrison looked at Marcus with pure disgust. "Mr. Richardson, I've been a family court judge for 17 years. I've seen many custody battles, but I have never seen someone as transparently motivated by greed as you are right now." Marcus tried to speak. "Your Honor, I love," she cut him off. "You love her inheritance." "There's a difference." Judge Morrison closed the file like a coffin lid. "Mr. Richardson, I'm denying your petition for full custody. Furthermore, I'm ordering a psychological evaluation before you receive even supervised visitation. And I'm referring this case to the court's fraud investigation unit because I believe you filed in bad faith with intent to access a minor child's finances." Marcus went white as death. "Your Honor, please." The gavel came down like thunder. "We're adjourned. Miss Richardson Hartwell retains full custody. You're lucky I'm not holding you in contempt." Maya sat motionless as the truth settled in. She'd won. Naomi was safe. Across the room, Marcus stood unsteady, his lawyer whispering, unheard. Defeat hollowed his face. Harold leaned in. "Your father would be proud." Maya couldn't speak. She gathered her things and headed for the door. Marcus grabbed her arm. "Maya, wait." I panicked. "About money." "But I love Naomi. Don't shut me out." Maya looked at his hand, then his face, her father dying, the rushed wedding, the months he vanished. She pulled free, voice calm and final. "You did make a mistake." "The biggest one was thinking I was weak." She stepped closer, and Marcus actually flinched. "My father taught me that mercy is for people who deserve it," Maya said quietly. "And you don't." Then she walked out into the spring sunlight and didn't look back. Outside, her phone buzzed a photo from Naomi's nanny. The baby had rolled over for the first time. "She's so strong, just like her mama." Maya looked up at the sky and whispered, "We did it, Daddy." 3 weeks later, everything exploded. Headlines accused her of child endangerment. Doctored photos. Fake CPS reports. Lies designed to destroy her in a single news cycle. Vanessa Chung. Harold moved fast. Forensics proved the images were fabricated, traced to Vanessa's IP burner phones. Surveillance footage. A coordinated attack born of desperation. That afternoon, Maya faced the cameras. Calm, unbreakable. She laid out the evidence piece by piece, naming Vanessa publicly, legally, finally. By nightfall, the story flipped. Retractions issued. Prosecutors announced an investigation. But Maya didn't stop there. Days later, she stood before a renovated brownstone and announced the James Hartwell Center for Women and Children, free legal aid, child care, counseling, housing. 10 centers. $200 million. "They tried to destroy me," Maya said. "So I chose to build." And as the doors opened and women poured in, Maya felt it at last, not victory. Healing. Every woman Maya helped healed a piece of the wound Marcus and Vanessa had left behind. She wasn't doing this for revenge anymore. She was doing it because it mattered, because her father taught her that real wealth isn't what you keep, it's what you give away. A year after the custody battle, Marcus showed up at her office unannounced. He looked smaller somehow, worn down by regret. He apologized, quietly, honestly admitting he'd chased status, not love, and lost everything that mattered. Maya listened without warmth or anger. When he finished, she simply said, "Okay, now leave." When the door closed, she felt nothing at all. Just relief. The past no longer had a hold on her. Her focus was Naomi laughing, learning to walk, growing up safe and loved. Marcus sent child support voluntarily. Maya put every cent into Naomi's future. Vanessa was eventually convicted of filing false reports. Probation, bankruptcy, obscurity. Maya, meanwhile, built a legacy. By Naomi's second birthday, the Richardson Hartwell Foundation had helped thousands of women and children across the country. Laws changed. Lives changed. History noticed. On her father's grave, Maya finally understood his words. Show no mercy not to yourself, but to the voices and systems that try to keep you small. Real victory wasn't destroying them. It was becoming so whole they no longer mattered.